Hello, this is Ruth Ann McKinnon. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing my next segment that I've been calling the Blue Bin fragrances. Just to recap briefly, I got this cheap dollar store blue bin and I simply shop my own collection and I take out fragrances that I don't wear very often, that I really don't pull for, or that have been sitting around and I just are not using very well, and so I put them in this bin and I wear them almost exclusively. The only real exception to my wearing these over the past, gosh, it seems like it's been 3 or 4 weeks, probably close to a month, is if it's like a special occasion or a date night, I'll wear something else. So the benefit is that I've worn these so extensively that I'm really familiar with them, and I feel like I can give you a good review, not only in whether I like it or not, but what the fragrance is like and how long it lasts. So I'm just going to get started. I just want to say that all of them I really did enjoy, really did enjoy. All right, so first up, this is a smaller bottle of Oscar de la Renta. This is the original fragrance from I believe it's from the late 70s. I have another full-size bottle. It's much bigger than this. And I bought this one and I don't even remember buying it. And it was sitting in the back of my shelf. And so I just pulled it out and I thought, well, I'll use it. So obviously I used it quite a bit, very much enjoyed it. The original Oscar de la Renta is a white floral, but it's got a prominent spicy note. Now, the spicy note can be a little off-putting and or dated when you first spray it. However, those top volatile spicy notes go away quickly. They don't last very long. So if you don't like that spiciness in a floral fragrance, it doesn't last very long, for me anyway. What you get primarily is a real powdery, classic white floral. It's very ladylike, very beautiful. If you like white florals, especially if you like mature fragrances, I don't know if I like the term mature. Mature is kind of a softened term for granny perfume or old lady perfume. I think this is one that really can be worn by any age. In fact, I first bought this when I was a teenager. And I enjoyed it as a teenager. And I remember when I first sprayed it then, and that was in the 80s, thinking it was kind of a grandma perfume. But now that I am a grandmother, and I have 4 grandchildren now, I really can appreciate this. I can't really pick out any particular floral note in here. And again, I don't look these up because I don't want to give you what Fragrantica says about these fragrances. I want to tell you exactly how I experience them. It's a wonderfully blended white floral. Again, slightly powdery, not soapy, perhaps a little aldehydic, but I don't find that to be prominent. The spiciness in it is kind of a cardamom-y-like spiciness. But the more I wear it, the more I appreciate it. And to me, this fragrance just smells like home, like a warm hug. This is good year-round. It's good signature scent. It's good date night, everyday wear. It's really good for everything. And I really love it. I don't ever want to be without it. I probably got this smaller bottle to use for traveling. But I am going to use this up probably in the next few weeks and then just go on to my bigger bottle. But I cannot recommend this enough. It lasts at least 6 hours, if not more. Honestly, I like it so much I just keep reapplying it. So I'm not exactly sure how long it lasts, but I know I get at least 6 hours. And it's not very expensive. In fact, none of the perfumes I'm covering today are expensive. All right, so I'm going to move on to the next one. I'll just randomly pick one. All right, this is called Wicked Wahine, and this is made in Honolulu, Hawaii, and this is by Royal Hawaiian Perfumes. Now, I have about 3 of their fragrances now. This is their original, and from what I understand, it's their oldest fragrance, and I think it's their bestseller. I'm not 100% sure about that. But this fragrance does go back to the 60s or 70s, and it truly is old school. Now, this also has a bit of that spiciness in the open. Doesn't last long. In fact, it doesn't last as long as the Oscar de la Renta fragrance in terms of that opening spicy note, which can be a little off-putting, I think, for some in the opening. However, it was a very popular way of a fragrance to open back in those days. What this is, the way I experience it, and look at this, I used up the entire bottle. There's a couple of drops in the bottom, but this bottle was almost full when I started, and that's how much I loved this fragrance. This is a powder bomb. If you like powdery fragrances, this can be bought for $25, $24 on eBay. That's where I bought it. I plan to buy another bottle very soon because I absolutely loved it. I went days where this is all I wore. And where I highly recommend, if you like powder, now this is truly baby powder fragrance. You would think Royal Hawaiian, Wicked Wahine would be a tropical floral. It would smell like jasmine and hibiscus. No. Now, it may have some of those florals in there, and I'm sure it does, but you have to remember back at the time when this came out, what was really, really popular at that time was powdery florals. Probably one of the best-selling fragrances on the market was Love's Baby Soft, which is just strictly baby powder. And it was all the rage back in that time. So what I did was I wore this with baby lotion, and the kind that I like the most is Baby Magic. Now, Johnson & Johnson's baby lotion has a great scent, but it's not very strong and it doesn't last very long, where Baby Magic has a really stronger baby scent, baby powder scent, and it lasts a bit longer, and it pairs with Wicked Wahine just beautifully. In fact, I would go so far as to say it reminds me closest of old school Love's Baby Soft. If you were to buy Love's Baby Soft now, which is by Dana, it is nothing like what it used to be. It's worse than a body spray. It is fleeting. It doesn't really smell at all. I don't know how they get away with making perfumes that have no scent or that doesn't last. It's like it dries and it's gone. And it's such a huge waste of money. This is like more like the original. The original Love's Baby Soft, the powderiness is the same in this and that one. However, Love's Baby Soft had a little bit more of a floral edge. Take away the floral edge and add that slight spiciness in the opening. That's what you get Wicked Wahine. It's almost like a grown woman version of baby powder or Love's Baby Soft. And so it really brought me back to a fragrance I love. Now, if you don't like baby powder or powdery fragrances, you are not going to like Wicked Wahine. In fact, when I did look it up on Fragrantica a while ago, that was one of the main complaints people had. They're like, this is nothing like what I thought it was going to be. Of all of Royal Hawaiian fragrances, I like this one the least. That's what other reviewers were saying. This, in my book, is number one. But again, that's because I love baby powder fragrances. So if that is your jam, you've got to get a hold of one of these bottles. Believe me, you will love it. Again, if you don't like powdery fragrances, this is definitely not for you. This has pretty good lasting power. I'd say average about 6 hours. I would apply it several times a day. Obviously, that's why I went through the whole bottle. Again, very inexpensive. Nice bottle. It's got a nice strong metal cap. Well, no, I take that back. It's plastic. I thought it was metal. But absolutely love it. In fact, it's so strong that even just removing the cap, I got a big, huge whiff of it. And it just is so good. This is a fuzzy sweater in the winter. This is a cool fan in the summer. It's year-round. Another one of those, you can wear it anywhere. It can go anywhere. I wore this on date nights. I wore it every day. It's wonderful right out of the bathtub. Very refreshing. I can't say enough about it. I just absolutely loved it. And I guarantee you, not in my next haul video because I haven't ordered it yet, but I'm going to be getting another bottle very soon. All right, next, let's pick this one. Another bottle that I used up. This is Elizabeth Arden, if you can see that here, Elizabeth Arden Ofresh, which basically is French for fresh water. This came out, I believe, in the early 80s. I did look it up weeks ago, don't remember exactly, but this is a green fragrance. It is, in the opening, excuse me, it's very much like Chanel No. 19. This is like a inexpensive dupe for Chanel No. 19. This bottle was under $20. I'm not kidding you guys. It lasts 6 to 8 hours. It is like if you were to take Chanel No. 19, take out a lot of those deep woody notes, amp up the green a little bit, believe it or not, this is even greener than Chanel No. 19, and then make it a little fresh. Now, this is not what I would consider a freshie in terms of today's freshies. Most freshies today have a lot of kind of aquatic, watery notes. This doesn't have any of that. This is like a grown woman's fresh, and I absolutely love it. There's really not a lot of soapiness. There might be a small amount of it. First off, it's a green fragrance. Second, it's got some gentle, clean florals. Third, it's fresh. Nothing aquatic. It's very green. It's a green experience from the beginning to the end. It's a little harsh in the opening, and that kind of harsh I like. So it's like if you've ever had long stemmed flowers and you took a sharp knife and you cut those stems, and that whiff of green that comes to your nose from that is the opening of Ofresh. And I've also described in the past Chanel No. 19, especially the Eau de Toilette, opens a lot like that with this burst of fresh green. And then that calms down, and then you get more of a calmer, fresh green. If you've tried Chanel No. 19 and you found it too harsh, but you like green fragrances, this is worth trying. It's easier to wear. Also, Chanel No. 19, I know I'm comparing it to it a lot, but tends to be a little moody, sad almost, depressive. I can only wear Chanel No. 19 for maybe a day or two, and then it starts to affect my mood. And I don't have any kind of mood disorder, but I do start to feel a little blue because it's such a heavy, melancholy fragrance. Nothing in here is heavy or melancholy. It's like a happy green. It's like a happy, clappy form of Chanel No. 19. And I absolutely love it. And I will tell you how much I love it. I bought another bottle because I don't ever want to be without it. And this, I want to say, was about $14, $15 on eBay. On eBay, I just buy from trusted sellers, not from anyone in particular. And I find that consistently, eBay is the cheapest place. Now, occasionally that's not the case. I have been able to find them cheaper in other areas, other fragrances, but not this one in particular. The vast majority of the time, eBay is going to be the cheapest. And if you go with trusted sellers, it's very safe. I have never been ripped off buying from a trusted seller because a couple of bad reviews and it affects their business. So they tend to be very trustworthy. So I highly recommend this. Again, you have to like green fragrances. All right, let's see. I have 4 left. Pull out this one. So this is a tester bottle of Pink Sugar Sensual. If you can see that, it says Sensual. So this is by Aqualina. Of course, you can see here that it is a tester bottle. When I first bought this, because I love pink sugar, I'm a sucker for sweet fragrances. I'm not in the mood for them every day, but I go on sweet kicks where that's all I want. And this one is beautiful. I would say I like it as much as I do the original pink sugar. And I'm going to assume a lot of you know what the original pink sugar smells like because it is so popular. It seems like everyone knows it, especially people who love fragrance. So imagine with pink sugar, if you take down or take out that licorice note and you ramp up the sexy notes. Now, I looked this up a while ago. I thought it was musk in here. It's not, it's sandalwood. So that sensual note is actually sandalwood. So it gives it a creamy, just a lovely, I'm trying to decide, smoothness, creamy smoothness. I don't know if I'm describing that quite right. The this top, by the way, didn't come with the bottle. This is from another bottle of pink sugar, and I just saved it and put it on here because this came without a cap. But anyway, the bottle's different because it's got black on it rather than the pink, which you see on the cap. It's inexpensive. It is probably $20, $22. Lasts for hours. This is a good 8+ hours. I've sprayed this on before bed. It is still going strong in the morning. I've worn it on a shirt one day and then taken it off for the night and put it on the next day before I go for my run. That's kind of my routine. And I can still smell it very, very clearly. So it's very long lasting, not very expensive, beautiful, very sweet. But if that licorice note in the original pink sugar bothers you, try the Sensual. Because the sandalwood is not that woody, campfire-y kind. It's more of a creamy, sensual sandalwood. Really, really love it. I highly recommend it. All right, let's pull out this one next. So this is Burberry Body, and this is the Eau de Toilette. It also comes in an Eau de Parfum. That one's much more expensive. The Eau de Toilette, this one actually does last quite well. I would say average 4 to 6 hours. It's got a lot of green apple. I've heard this described many times, like an apple teeny or an apple cocktail. I agree with that. However, because I've worn so much of it, I can really tell you that, and I've drank some apple teenies in my time, it's really like apple teeny, but if you're wearing oud. Now, I have not looked this up, but I swear there's an oudy funkiness in this fragrance, and it hasn't gone off. It's not that old. But when I spray it, it reminds me of that Middle Eastern oudy, I don't know what that is. And it's not exactly animalic. It's slightly spicy. All I can say is that there's a bit of an oud funk in here. Now, it's probably not oud because I've never known Burberry to really use that. Again, I haven't looked it up. If you know what that funkiness is, please let me know in the comments because I honestly don't know. But I would say that is more prominent than the apple. And it's a nice fresh green apple. And I do enjoy the fragrance. Obviously, look at that. There's just a little bit left in the bottom. And it lasts really well. It really does hold up in the heat. It's a great summer fragrance, but it's not a light, bright, fresh fragrance. It's not that at all. It's more of a intense fragrance than I remembered or than I would expect from Burberry. Where I wore this primarily was when I run. So I'm a runner. I run about 5 to 6 days a week, and I run outside in the heat. And right now, temperatures are in the 80s, and it's quite humid. And this fragrance holds up beautifully. I can smell this when I go outside, and I can still smell it all the way until I'm home again. So it's really good for lasting. Like I said, it holds up in the heat. But that funkiness to it makes it so that I don't think I'll repurchase it. But I have enjoyed it. Apple, yes, but not, with a little bit of horse barn in there. So that's not exactly a glowing review for it, but I don't really feel glowing about the fragrance. It's a little strange, to be honest with you. All right, next up I have Oscar de la Renta Live in Love. Now, this fragrance has several flankers. This is the original Live in Love. There's one in Paris, there's one in New York City. So they all kind of have their special take. This one is a bit more citrus. So it's a citrus fresh shampoo-y fragrance. In fact, when I first smelled this, when I first spray it, I'm sorry, it's like shampoo in a bottle. It reminds me of the strongly scented shampoos that we had in the 90s that were on the market, like Herbal Essence shampoos, the ones that are just really, really loaded with fragrance. That's a lot like what Live and Love smells like, but add a little bit of citrus, some freshness, but it's mostly shampoo. Shampoo number 1, citrus number 2, freshness number 3. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It lasts really well, probably more like the 4-hour mark rather than 4 to 6. So maybe a little under average, but it's beautiful. You know, it's hard for me to think anyone would dislike it. It's one of those universally accepted, lovely fragrances. It's great for right out of the shower. It's great for anything, really. Probably not a date night clubbing kind of a fragrance because it is so fresh. It's very innocent. It reminds me of wearing like a yellow t-shirt and sunshine. I always imagine, like my mother when I was little, she always hung a lot of our laundry on the line in the summer. And so I used to go outside, and especially with the sheets, would hang down just a couple of feet above the ground. And I used to run between the sheets and the sun shining and the blue sky. And the smell of the sheets and the freshly laundry soap, that reminds me of this fragrance. Just lovely. It's a if you're in a bad mood, try putting this on and try staying in a bad mood. I don't think it would be easy. Great summer fragrance. Really highly recommend it. Again, not expensive. And my last one is Anne Klein. And now this is Anne Klein's original. I have tried 2 of Anne Klein's fragrances, this one and then Anne Klein 2, which is completely different. The original Anne Klein here, again, I believe this came out in either the late 70s or the early 80s, is just a beautiful white floral. Beautiful white floral. A lot of peach in here. There's a creamy sandalwood quality to this as well. It's extremely elegant. This is like, you see the black top and the classy kind of look to the bottle. Although the cap is kind of plastic and cheap, the bottle's a nice strong glass. It's the kind of fragrance you want to wear in the summer with a nice black top, a black turtleneck, a velvet dress. If I was going to wear a velvet ball gown to a beautiful event with a black velvet pumps and have my hair done professionally, I could see wearing Anne Klein. This would be a perfect complement to that, with pearl earrings and a pearl necklace. It's that kind of classy. This is kind of a lady lawyer in court. Not the kind that it wants to intimidate, but the kind that wants to be ladylike, elegant. This is something I would imagine Grace Kelly wearing. Now, I know Grace Kelly actually had her own fragrance that was designed for her, and I've never smelled that, although I'd love to. But this, when I spray this, I think Grace Kelly. That's how elegant I think it is. Again, it's beautifully well blended. If this were bottled and sold by Tom Ford, people would rave about how elegant it is, and they would spend $300 for it. But because it's Anne Klein and it's been around a long time, you can get this for under $20. And it's more proof that you do not need to spend a lot of money to smell like $1,000, to smell beautiful. Anne Klein is all you need. So that is all I have in my blue bin. I will list all the names down in the description box. I don't do links, but I'll put the names down there in case you missed them as I was listing them off. And I will be back in about a month, 3 or 4 weeks, with another blue bin. I'm looking forward to changing it up a bit because I've been wearing these a long time. But I have at least one other video planned before that. So thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.